I love that new little intro song. Okay. Hello everybody. How are you doing on this fine, what is it, Wednesday? Oh my gosh, I'm a little bit scatterbrained. I actually already recorded a video today and it's going to be maybe coming out today about Lou Taylor, who has some connections to this story through her firm TriStar Sports and Entertainment, and then her assistant or, second in command, Robin Greenhill. So there's like a whole nother video coming out. I'm having to switch gears here, but I already was supposed to make this video yesterday and I didn't. So, hey, here I am. Okay. So just to get right to the point, yes, hello to everyone in the chat. Hello. And I do want to remind y'all just double check, make sure that you didn't maybe inadvertently get unsubscribed from the channel for some reason. That does happen sometimes. Anyway, so welcome to everybody in the chat. Blue Butterfly, hello. Simply Monica, Edie, everybody. How are y'all doing today? So today is April 10th. So I think around April 4th, April 5th, maybe 4 or 5 days ago, within the past week, in addition to all of this news, all of this information surrounding P. Diddy, just about 2 weeks or so ago, he was raided by the Department of Homeland Security Investigates Squad or whatever. 3 of his mansions were raided. He got sued back in November. And then after that, he got sued a bunch of more other times by people who have been close to him or worked for him, alleging all kinds of assault. So all that was kind of circulating in the news around April 4th, April 5th this year. And more news started circulating that Christian Combs, the one of Diddy's sons, he's being accused of some similar behaviors in another lawsuit. But as I started to look into the lawsuit, I started to notice more similarities than only just the allegations, but like the lawyer they have in common, which led me into this whole other side story, which is in the P. Diddy playlist if you did miss the last live I did. But I had to kind of examine the lawyer because there's this lawyer, Tyrone Blackburn. And he is kind of like celebrity lawyer, kind of infamous. He's really made a name for himself out here. And it seems like he is maybe perhaps not operating in the total best amount of good faith possible. So we did make a stop down there. But today I want to talk about the actual. You're strong on the what? I want to talk about the actual lawsuit itself. So let me pull this page of the LA Superior Court up so that y'all can see what's been filed and all that. Okay. Oh, that's not the right thing. Sorry. Let me get that. Okay. So here is the page, the docket report for the lawsuit. My mind is all over the place. Here's the docket report for the lawsuit. It's a person by the name of Grace Omarkeg, and she's suing, as you can see, Christian Combs. And this is all that's been filed. On the 4th, so, 6 days ago, she did file the initial pleadings of the case, which is the complaint and the summons and all of that. And then there will be a case management conference. So that's really the only thing that is going on. So today, what I want to do, I want to read through, not probably like word for word, but kind of line by line of the complaint. Let's see what Grace is alleging. And I want to bring to your attention some things I personally find to be interesting, but just showing the public record. Okay. Here's the document. Again, we see a familiar character. This is that Tyrone Blackburn. He's a lawyer. And me personally, I don't exactly know where I stand on the whole Tyrone Blackburn issue. Haven't made my mind up. I could see some credibility concerns, but I do believe that he should have his, day in the grievance committee to make his points and all that. I haven't made my mind up. I do see some patterns of behavior that are concerning, but that's all I'll say for now. He is representing the person who is suing Christian Combs. So I think it's important to also, little side note, in the Lil Rod Jones lawsuit against P. Diddy, in the Lil Rod Jones lawsuit against P. Diddy, Lil Rod Jones makes a bunch of allegations against a bunch of people. And one of the people he makes allegations against is P. Diddy's son. P. Diddy's son, Christian Combs, I'm sorry, excuse me, Justin Combs is mentioned as being a supposed mule. Again, innocent until proven guilty, but supposedly a sort of drugs and weapon mule. Um, Participating in freak offs with his dad, right? This Justin Combs, that's the allegations. Well, this is not the same son. This is a different son. And it's interesting because whenever all those raids were going on, they were handcuffing both of these sons outside the house, and P. Diddy had just left them there at the house. Some died. Anyway, okay. Here's the lawsuit against Christian Combs, different son. So this is the other one, not mentioned in the Lil Rod Jones, to my memory. Maybe he was, but I don't remember him being. Okay, so this girl, this plaintiff, is going to be making some allegations against Cuba Gooding Jr. She's going to be making allegations against obviously Christian Combs, P. Diddy, Sean P. Diddy, Puff Daddy Combs. So yes, her love of yachting. She's one of these people. Y'all ever saw Below Deck? It's one of my guilty pleasure reality shows. But then I watched like a lot of seasons, binge watch basically in like a few weeks, and I got kind of sick of it. But I do like that show. So anyway, she's kind of like sort of like one of those workers on the Below Deck. I love that show. She's like one of the people there. They're yachting. They're on these beautiful yachts and they're, in the Mediterranean or whatever. And she's been doing it a long time. She's traveled the world, met many new friends. She's always worked well with other people on teams. She consistently received good reviews from her clients. She's received promotions consistently. And it says prior to being assaulted by Christian Combs, the defendant, and this is all allegations, plaintiff had planned to work the entirety of her career in the hospitality and the yachting industry. So before her little run in with Christian Combs, she's saying through her attorney, Tyrone Blackburn, that before she had her run in with him, she was about to do this for the rest of her life. This was about to be her job forever. Unfortunately, those plans have been derailed due to the trauma that she continues to have as a result of this assault, alleged. Okay, so that's him right there. And this picture is from the day that they had done those raids. He's not being arrested. I don't know if I actually said he's being arrested. I think he's just being detained. I don't think he ever was technically arrested, just to be very clear. Okay, so he's a 25-year-old look at this shade, auto-tuned and heavily edited rapper. This says in court filing, defendant Christian Combs is a 25-year-old auto-tuned and heavily edited rapper. Unfortunately, as the saying goes, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. Defendant Sean Combs, that's Sean P. Diddy Puff Daddy Combs, who has also been accused of several acts of assault, R-word, S violence, drugging, among other deplorable conduct, is Christian Combs' father. Okay, so it is interesting to me that he's bringing this up. I'm not making a judgment, like it's a good thing or a bad thing. I just truly find it interesting because when you look a little bit behind the curtain, all these allegations he's referring to, he's like, Sean P. Diddy Puff Daddy Combs is also a defendant in this suit. And he's also been accused of all kinds of R-word, S assault, violence, drugging, all the same types of behavior. And when you really look behind the curtain, it's like a lot of those allegations came directly from this guy's legal filings representing these clients. So it's like, oh, it's just interesting. It's just interesting. He's kind of using that to bolster his argument, but he kind of put it there. Things to think about. Specifically, Diddy is the second child. Sorry, no, Christian. This is confusing. They should use their first names. C Combs and S Combs is too much. It's stupid. Specifically, Christian is the second child of billionaire Diddy. Upon information and belief, he resides in the city of Beverly Hills. P. Diddy Puff Daddy. He became famous in the early 1990s with his record label Bad Boy Records. He rose to prominence in the music industry, entertainment industry over the decades, and is regularly referred to as a hip hop mogul and a top hip hop producer in the industry. He lives in Beverly Hills, allegedly, retains the right to amend during the relevant period. Okay. Jurisdiction is right. Okay. So in July 2022, Grace, who's the plaintiff, her name is Grace, she was working on this yacht called Victorious. It's a super yacht built by YACHT. I don't know anything about yachts. I just watch Below Deck. That's my whole entire education. Never been on a yacht. And owned and operated by Fraser. I don't know, girl. Worked as okay. So her job on the ship was a temporary second stewardess or second stew. So she was kind of like the second in the pyramid of like the kind of like front of house guest interface, right? The lead kind of like waitress, but they do a lot more than that. It's like they do a lot of stuff on the boat. So she was kind of like the second. She wasn't the main one, but she was, right under that in the hierarchy. She worked her temporary position for about a month on this same boat. And then she was also offered a permanent position. Okay, so she started out as a temporary worker, and then the captain or whoever promoted her to a permanent worker to work on this super yacht. Let me see if I can find a picture of the Victorious. Y'all curious to see it? Victorious super yacht. Oh, wow. Fraser Yachts. Let me show it to y'all. Oh. See it right here? It's motor yacht for charter. Summer rates. Why they got this dollar here? So it's like $1 million a week. US. It's saying about 885 euros per week and about like 950,000. So like almost once you do your tip and all that, it's probably like $1 million a week to rent this yacht. Yeah, delivered by Yacht, brings together. I don't want to chat, Harry. Go away. No. 12 plus guest rooms. Let me see if I can. Oh, look, they got. Let's watch the video. Oh my gosh, this looks so aspirational. Let me turn the music off. Oh wow, look at that. Doesn't it make you kind of want to go on the yacht just to see? Like, aren't you a little bit curious? Not like, ooh, not with the people, just like the actual, like this looks fun. They're like eating lunch out on the patio, the deck. There's little children rolling cars, and then they're getting a little suntan. Oh, the kids are helping the chef make a pizza. Oh, that's cute. I love jet skiing, but you don't got to go on a yacht to do that. They're jumping off the front of the boat for fun. Oh man. Well, what's they saying? Oh, they're doing yoga. Okay, so this is the yacht. That's where she was working. Yeah, it looks fun, right? um. Okay, so Camille's like, it's not really a promotion. It's just, yeah. Okay, true. I don't know. I kind of see it as a promotion because it's like a job, like it's a for sure job. But yeah, I mean, I guess technically, yeah, not the yoga. No, Scott's like, I don't care about that boat. I do not want to go on that boat. Not certainly not. I'm not saying it's worth. I would only go if I was going for free. I wouldn't. I don't have $1 million for one. So just like, I mean, no, it's too expensive. I would jump. I would, but it's like safe because they're doing it. I would make sure it was safe. I wouldn't do it like a jackass stunt. How much does 1 hour cost? I don't know. I don't know. It was probably 500,000 before 2020. Yeah, it did kind of affect the this industry. It in higher demand, and now everybody wants to buy a yacht apparently. Okay, let's get back to this lawsuit. So now we know with the setting, we know where we are and stuff. Maybe we'll go back and look at more pictures later, but You get the gist. She's working. She just got offered this permanent position on the Victorious and all that. Okay, so 2 months after she, well, it doesn't actually say when she got. Okay, okay. So in September 2022, she had been part of a dedicated team. This is the plaintiff at the boat show. Tasked, she had a task, and her task was that she had to sell charters for the boat. She had to sell. She was a salesperson as well, to high net worth individuals such as uh, P. Diddy and his son, Christian. So a few months later, she was advised that the yacht had actually finally been successfully chartered for the 2022 holiday period. And so for the holiday period, you can rent, the rich people rent the boats for like an amount of time. So it'll be like, we want to rent it over Christmas, or we want to rent it over New Year, or we want to rent it during Memorial Day, Labor Day, whatever, wherever you are and all that. So if someone does charter or like rent the boat, then the crew will come work. So she's basically saying she got the call and she changed her own personal holiday family plans to accommodate the charter service for these guests. And she flew into St. Martin to prepare the yacht for service. So she gets there early before the charter, before the trip goes, and she starts to prepare the boat, the yacht, to serve the rich people. Soon she learned the client who chartered the yacht was Sean P. Diddy, Puff Daddy Combs, and his family. P. Diddy leased the yacht and had full control of the staff and premises of the yacht. So he was the boss, basically. That's what we're being told. Although plaintiff was used to working in discreet and VIP environments, so it's like she was used to servicing these clients as a second stew on these boats. It wasn't new to her. She had been working in the industry. This was one of her first times working with an A-list celebrity. And so because of this, she wanted to basically do a good job and impress them and make the holidays special for them. For the duration of the trip, she was assigned to the late shift. That is the 6 p.m. at night to 6 a.m. in the morning. So she had to be awake basically overnight to serve them. And you can imagine calamity is going to ensue because she's working like the party shift and she's alone. Late shift duties included dinner and drink service for the clients for the entire 12-hour period. Dinner and drink service had to be carried out with minimum staff support or backup during the night shift because only 2 individuals were assigned for dinner, drink. And one of the things about these boats I saw on Below Deck is at any time at all, you can request something to be made and pretty much almost anything. Like there's obviously limitations, but like I've seen, maybe it's just for the show, but I'm sure some of this happens. I've seen on Below Deck, there's seasons of the show where somebody will wake up and be like, I want, ice cream, homemade ice cream. And the chef, somebody goes and wakes the chef up in his cabin and he got to wake up and go make homemade ice cream from scratch, even though there's frozen ice cream in the freezer. Or like they'll be like, we want to eat lobster and some rare type of clam or something. And it's like somebody got to get off the yacht and go into the little village and like try to find that stuff. And sometimes they probably really can't, but it's difficult, as you will see in this lawsuit as well, as is alleged, to tell these people no, because sometimes they don't take no for answer. And sometimes you're not trying to make them mad because you want them to keep, leasing your yacht or whatever. It's like, I'm glad I watched Below Deck. I feel prepared now to understand what's going on here. So yeah, like if they wanted to eat, if they're like, "Oh, we want nachos," like she's got to figure out how to get that for them at 2 a.m. while she's also like the only bartender and also kind of like anything else they need. She's like the front of house person, and they're partying and doing Diddy parties on this yacht during the holidays. Okay. So although Diddy was always typically on the yacht, his sons, Christian and Justin, were staying in a luxury villa nearby, but they would join Diddy on the yacht most evenings. During the second week of the service, so they did it for a couple weeks, And she's saying during week 2, there was a significant amount of partying and illicit substance use, which caused the guests to stay up throughout the night. So they were awake. The makeup of the yacht quickly evolved from Diddy and his family to include a constant rotation of suspected S workers and other A list celebrities, such as French Montana and actor Cuba Gooding Jr. And it's interesting now Tyrone Blackburn is calling them suspected S workers because I think he may be in a little bit of trouble for calling certain people S workers in his other lawsuit filings. And it was just an allegation. So I do think he is learning and trying to correct course so he doesn't get in trouble. Interestingly, here he does name by name some people, but he does not name by name other people. So, for example, French Montana and Cuba Gooding Jr. he names by name, but you're going to see later he starts to do that weird footnote thing again, where it's like a famous Philadelphia comedian or whatever. So Diddy turned what was sold as a wholesome family excursion into a hedonistic environment. According to plaintiff, this is the person suing, it resulted in unexpected increase in a workload for her and her colleagues, as well as unwanted exposure to unlawful substance use, S work, and general chaos. Okay, another thing. Like I told you, I've never been on a yacht in my life, much less chartered one. I really don't know how it works. I watched a reality show which could have been 100% fake. I really don't know. But from what I do know about the rumors about yacht parties, it seems like way more often than not, it would be unlawful substance use, S work, maybe not general chaos, but like that's what these yachts are literally known for. They're not known for like wholesome family jet ski trips. They're literally in the, you know, collective consciousness. When we think of celebrities and yachts, we think of debauchery, right? It's not like you're going to convince me that Grace was in this industry and had waited on and served A-list celebrities before and she didn't realize like that's what they do on these yachts. Like, I'm not saying they should. I don't think that people should break laws. I'm not saying any of that. I'm saying that's what it's known for by the general public. So somebody that had been working in this industry, it seems like, are you going to sue the rest of the clients that were on the boat? Cuz I don't know. You know what I mean? That being said, she does go on to make some more horrendous allegations, which I'm absolutely not saying should be par for the course. I'm not saying this should be either. I'm just, making a couple observations. Yeah, it always does. Okay. So then she says it also created an extremely hazardous environment. For example, guests often demanded drink service until 6 a.m. and staff was often treated with disrespect. Suspected S workers were sprawled out unconscious about the yacht, and it was difficult to distinguish which bottles of alcohol were laced with substances and which were not. As a bartender, plaintiff understands the impact of alcohol and the likelihood that a person would not usually become intoxicated following one mixed drink. So she's a bartender. She knows generally, what happens to most people after they have one shot or one drink, especially if she's making it. But then it goes on to say, because of this, she found it very suspicious that after one shot of the tequila or one mixed drink, my computer's freezing. Sorry. So after one shot or one mixed drink, various women on the yacht would be falling over themselves, panicking, or passing out after one shot or one mixed drink. This led plaintiff to reasonably believe that the alcohol given to these women was likely laced with substances. She was aware that Rodney Jones, a producer who was employed to work on the Love album Off the Grid, was required to be on standby for musical recordings often late into the night. So we have a little bit of a cross reference. Sorry. We have a little bit of a cross reference here. Rodney Jones is another one of Tyrone Blackburn's clients. And Rodney Jones' lawsuit really makes some alarming allegations, mirroring Cassie's allegations. And I believe that that is the final straw that finally broke the camel's back of the whole Homeland Security raid and all that. I think it was the Lil Rod lawsuit because he was, putting these pictures and it was all kind of stuff was going on in it. But that person is represented by Tyrone Blackburn, who's also literally writing this, or someone at his firm is writing this filing in a different case against a, different person. But in this story, and it started to make me think, again, I'm not putting a judgment on it. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I know this is just how it works. I'm not saying it's a good thing either. But I think this lawyer right here could possibly have been sort of doing a sweep of sorts, kind of like doing his investigation for what's his name? Lil Rod. And then in the process, he's interviewing other people, getting affidavits and being like, I wonder if this person knows that they also have a case against Diddy or whatever. I'm just wondering. I'm not saying that's what he's doing, and I'm not saying it's wrong, but it's almost like you could kind of see how that could have happened. It's like, how did this guy, I mean, there's got to be some way that he became the lawyer for both of these people. And I just want to I'm curious. But what it says is this, according to this second stew, this Grace person, the plaintiff in the case, she was aware that Rodney Jones from the other lawsuit, Lil Rod, was employed to work on an album. And he was required to be on standby for musical recordings, often late into the night. So he was on the boat, he was on the yacht in this holiday season or whatever, and he was supposed to be on standby, ready to work at any time to produce this music. The Love album is the 5th studio album. This is weird. This is really weird sentence to me. Look what it says. It says, Mr. Jones, that's Lil Rod Jones, a producer, was accepted as an extended member of the service staff and spent time with plaintiff at the service bar and piano room where he played the piano. So Lil Rod Jones, the producer, one of the producers, he produced 9 songs on the Love Off the Grid album. He was playing the piano as a extended member of the service staff on the super yacht over the holidays. Okay, whatever. So December 28th, which is wow, this is interesting because it's like the exact same day as the Shines shooting thing situation. December 27th. So this is in the early morning. Okay, so in between Christmas and New Year, they're still on the yacht. And the evening shift had started as normal at about as normal whenever they started the shift at like 5 or 6 p.m. About 5 a.m., so right as plaintiff is about to, wrap up her shift, she's been dealing with these people all night. She messaged the on-duty phone that Christian Combs would be joining, was messaged, sorry. So she receives a message on her phone, her work duty phone, that Christian Combs was going to be getting on the yacht by a small boat called a tender. And it was 5 a.m. So here he comes. He's probably, messed up, drunk, whatever. Who knows? I wasn't there. So she gets the message and here he comes. Okay. He wanted to be brought over to the Victorias to record in the studio, presumably with what's his name? Lil Rod. So it's 5 a.m. and he wants to record right now with Lil Rod. Although it is not unheard of for him to come on board at such a late hour, he usually stayed at his villa offshore overnight, particularly when I think maybe that meant ashore. His dwelling offshore. I thought he was on a villa. I don't know exactly if this is a typo or what they're trying to say, but usually he wouldn't stay on the yacht overnight is what she's trying to say. He arrived and he was heavily intoxicated from a mixture of narcotics and alcohol. Upon entering the recording studio, he immediately started ordering that tequila shots be poured from a bottle of alcohol that he might have brought onto the yacht. So you're going to see Tyrone Blackburn using this terminology throughout the time he's referring to this tequila. that he may have brought onto the yacht. So it's like, we don't know where this tequila bottle came from, and it seems like, Grace also doesn't know, because I think he would have said it like, that plaintiff believes was brought on by whatever, whatever. We don't know where the bottle came from, but it was this one certain bottle of tequila that Christian Combs had on the yacht at 5 a.m. whenever he was apparently allegedly messed up on substances. Okay. So he enters the recording studio. It's like about 5 a.m. and he starts demanding everybody got to have a shot of tequila from this bottle of tequila. Ironically, he was playing a song by Cassie called Me and You. Y'all know that one. You've been waiting so long, I'm here to end. It's very weird he would have been playing that song, because his dad and Cassie had been broke up already. It's just like that was kind of like his like stepmom in a weird way. Like they dated for a long time, like a decade. Anyway, so he's playing his dad's ex's song that his dad produced. And then he asked the second stewardess, the server, to bring the shots to the recording studio slash sun deck. So they were like, I don't know what sun deck means really. So she had to do it because it was her job. She noticed immediately that Christian was particularly attentive with her, and she considered it to be very inappropriate. However, she began to become concerned whenever Christian demanded that she take shots of tequila with him from that bottle that maybe he brought on the yacht, but we really don't know where the bottle came from. And it says she felt pressured and she wanted to be polite and she obliged. Prior to this, she did witness Christian run through the boat and make a quote, Black Santa video, which showed him demanding the captain of the boat, various heads of departments, and the crew take a shot of tequila with him. So he made this Black Santa video. He ran all around the boat. He's taking shots of tequila and he's making like the captain of the boat, the captain of the yacht, the super yacht, take a shot with him, and he's making a video while he's doing it, the Black Santa. I don't know what that means. I don't know if that's a genre, it's a spoof. I really don't know. I do know it's a movie, but I don't know what it means that he was making a Black Santa video with the shots. As this was a pattern, yeah, and he wanted them to take shots with him on camera. As this was a pattern established by the captain of the yacht and Sean P. Diddy Puff Daddy Combs, plaintiff felt comfortable knowing that Rodney Jones was present and didn't think anything more of it. So she's like, whatever, I'll take one shot. It's fine. It's not going to hurt anything. I can take a shot. She felt like she could take one shot and then he would let her return to what she was doing. According to her, Grace, the plaintiff, at this point, the mood changed and things became, quote, sinister. Christian insisted that Grace stay by chatting, and he insisted that she stay there with him. At this point, he became aggressive. And then he insisted yet again that she take yet another shot and sit by him. At that point, he allegedly violently grabbed plaintiff's arm and began to hurt her. And he pulled her to the seat beside him and prevented her from getting up. So he, according to the complaint, he became aggressive physically. He started making demands. You have to take this shot. You have to sit by me. He grabbed her arm. That's the allegation. She insisted, though, that she had to return back to doing her work, and but her pleas fell on deaf ears. Angered, Christian Combs forced plaintiff to take another shot. She was quite scared, and she realized that she was in a very dangerous situation. She was also starting to feel the effects of the first tequila shot, and she quickly suspected that the tequila was spiked. At this point, the situation escalated. He allegedly started to be physically aggressive. He touched her private parts. Y'all can read the thing here if you want, but in very inappropriate places. And he also tried to kiss her. He proceeded to kiss her neck, face, and hands, but she was, I guess not letting him kiss her mouth or whatever. The timeline at this point is very blurry and vague to the plaintiff because she does not recall exactly what happened to her due to the effects of the spiked tequila shots. Um, but due to Diddy's insistence that Rod Jones record everything, Rodney Jones has an audio recording of Christian drugging an S assaulting plaintiff. Okay, blink and you miss it. Because Diddy insisted that Rodney Jones, Lil Rod Jones, record everything, audio and video. Remember, he said in his lawsuit he was basically like a videographer. Because of Diddy making Lil Rod do all that, the recordings, he took recordings of this. And he has a recording. But it's interesting to me, this interesting point, that the paragraph right before it says that plaintiff, her memory of this is vague and very blurry. She doesn't remember it because she was drugged. But luckily for, the situation, Lil Rod had a video of it. So it kind of just makes me, again, wonder, how did all these people get linked up? How did Tyrone Blackburn come to represent Grace? Was it through maybe this? Maybe she didn't remember it, but now these tapes, I don't know. I'm just wildly speculating. I'm just wondering because I really don't know. Okay. So below is the transcript of Christian Combs forcing plaintiff to consume the suspected laced shots of tequila. Okay. So they have an audio recording, maybe a video recording, I don't know. And they've transcribed it. They've transcribed it into this lawsuit. So this is what it says. It's a transcription, a transcript. It says Christian Combs, quote, "Yo, it's shot o'clock." Plaintiff, "No, I'm not doing shots." And then it says Christian. Then Christian, "Everybody, we got to take a shot." The second audio, Grace. I'll just put the ledge. Maybe she's saying I'll just put it on the ledge. And he's going, "No, no, 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 no. Take the whole thing." And she said to him, "No, you take it too then. If I'm taking a shot, you need to take the shot." And he said, "Take the whole shot." And she said, "I'm only doing it if you do it too. You take a shot too." He goes, "I'm not going to lie. I'm not taking nothing. Please, please take the shot." And then she asks, "Are you drugging me?" He says, "Take the shot. Hey, yo, play another beat one time because now." So this he must have gone and turned to Lil Rod and said, "Play another beat." So they're in the middle of making music. They're in the middle of making a song, and he's trying to get the server to take shot after shot with him. And she kind of felt like she needed to be polite, and she took one, and she even took a little bit of the second one. And he's like, "Take it, take the shot." And she's like, "I'm only taking it if you do." And then he's like, "I'm not gonna lie, I'm not taking that shot, but you have to take the whole shot." And she's like, "Are you digging me?" And then he starts talking to the producer. I haven't heard this tape. It all has to be substantiated, authenticated, and all that. This is just allegations so far. So I don't know what was actually said right after, but according to this transcript, it sounds like he just changed the subject, right? Like, take the shot. Hey, play another beat, right? To the question, are you, drugg me? Okay, so that was the shot thing. So they're saying that was like a forced substance, situation. And then below, they're going to give us transcript from the audio of the S assault. Cassie, Me and You featuring P. Diddy and Young Jock song playing in the background. It's almost like too perfect because when we finally get this audio, if we ever hear it, that's going to be playing in it. It's almost like just, you couldn't even write this into a script. You know what I mean? Anyway, okay, so that song's playing. And I don't know how we got to this scene. I don't know what's going on. There's really no context. Tyrone didn't give us any. So it just starts off with the plaintiff, the girl suing the server. She said, "This is not an offer." Or "This is not an offer." And then Christian said, "You said what?" And she says, "I cannot. I'm swapping out. I cannot do it. I'm sorry, darling." And Christian's like, "No, we need you." And she's like, "I'm going to stop. Stop. I have to go. I have to go. Honestly, I'm like already losing sleep. I have to go now." And Christian, Sean P. Diddy Puff Daddy Combs' spawn, says, "But you were the best one on this ship, though." And she's like, "What do you mean?" And he's like, "Who's going to replace you?" And she's like, "Who's going to replace me?" And he goes, "F that. This is going to be trash, though. You feel me?" She's like, "Excuse me, don't touch my legs like that. I'll move my legs where I want to." And then she said, "If I want to do this, then I will." So she must have been doing something he was telling her to stop doing or something. And she says again, you don't touch my legs like that." And then he goes, "Listen, you and everybody in the crew, it's great." And she's like, "I can't. I have to go down. I have to go down." And he says, "No, yo, tell me, listen." And she's like, "What?" And he's like, "Say you're just vibing with me the whole time." So he's like, "Oh, you don't have to go down there. Just say you were vibing with me." She's like, I'm tired." She goes, "I can't. I promise you. I wish I could, but I can't." And I can totally understand why she's saying, "I really wish I could," because this man is clearly, in my opinion, based on these allegations, not in his full faculties. So you just kind of have to de-escalate it and just get out of the situation. She's like, "I wish I could, but I can't. I would have to say that you guys requested me." And he's like, "Who can I talk to right now? Who can I talk to? I'm going to say I requested you right now." And she's like, "Well, you can take your hand off my behind for sure." Oh, sorry, for the first thing. Okay, so that's the end of the transcript. And then the complaint goes on. According to the plaintiff, she said she would have to have been requested because she knew anyone of authority who would approve of that request was asleep. And Christian would not have been able to contact them anyway. So then that was basically a ruse so she could leave. After being assaulted in the recording studio, she attempted to resume her duties that night. So she left out of there and went to go finish up her shift, went to go finish up her actual work she was supposed to be doing, and, tried to do that. She made her way to the pantry where she met another steward who was assigned to take over the shift. So the other person was getting ready to do the next shift. But shortly after returning to the pantry, Christian Combs called for the plaintiff again. Like she's trying to finish up, she's trying to go to sleep. She's now been, taking shots. She's trying to stay away. But he made a call for her. He went looking for her and demanded that she find him a place to sleep on the yacht. At such a late hour of the night, there were no spare cabins for Christian to stay in. But despite this, he refused to go back to shore, and the most acceptable place for him to sleep that night was in the cinema. This is weird to me because there's apparently 12, were there like places for 12 people to sleep? So there's a lot of people already on this boat in a cabin, or maybe it was a capacity thing. I really don't know. But basically, they're like, "Okay, we'll sleep in the movie theater." People do that all the time. So she directed him to the cinema, which was commonly used as an extra sleeping area. She retreated into a corner. Okay. The cinema, this room, only has one door to exit and enter. The plaintiff, the stewardess, enters the room, and Christian entered as well, blocking her from being able to leave. She retreated to a corner of the room, and Christian became physical and extremely aggressive. He cornered her and started to grope her, and she pushed him off. Then he apparently proceeded to take off all his clothes. This is the allegation. His private parts were in a certain type of position of readiness, and he grabbed her arms and was trying to um force her, the plaintiff, to do a certain act. Now, this reminds me of another lawsuit in this universe of Lil Rod. He said a similar thing happened to him where like Young Miami's cousin was essentially trying to do the same type of thing, and he had to like physically stop her. Um Plaintiff, the stewardess, began fighting Christian, and not long after, her partner on board, so that other stewardess who was there to take over um the shift, she shows up in the cinema room and kind of distracts Christian, who's literally butt naked apparently, and the plaintiff is able to make her escape. That Partner, that shift partner or whatever, though, became concerned and went looking for plaintiff after she didn't return to her room. Oh, wait, hold on. Did I miss something? She was finally able to leave. Okay. The morning after that whole incident, plaintiff complained to her boss, the captain of the yacht. His name is Peter Milkov. But what happened was he ended up basically cussing her out. The captain was like, quote, lacked compassion or concern, failed to investigate, and insisted that actually the plaintiff, Grace, was probably voluntarily partying with the guests and she probably asked for it or something. And it says here she was not. The captain also added insult to injury by assigning Grace to work in front of in the front of house, which required personally serving Christian Combs while they were on the yacht. I don't know if that would have already been her job anyway. That makes a difference to me, but she's saying the way that Tyrone is putting it, the captain did that when he had an option not to do that. I'm not sure he had another option, but it says adding insult to injury, the captain assigned plaintiff to work where she would have to be personally serving Christian after that assault had happened. Um, she was not provided an option to be isolated or not to have to serve him. She was 25 years old at the time. Based on information and belief, Diddy's employees, including his drug mule Brendan Paul, his chief of staff Christina Karam, and his second in line Frankie Santella, learned of what occurred and informed defendant Sean Combs. Okay, so Brendan Paul and Christina Karam, and also this guy Frankie Santella, they learned what went on, and then they relayed the information about this alleged assault to Diddy himself, to Christian's dad. Only a few members of the ship's staff were required to write statements. Plaintiff and her partner were the only two staff members not interviewed and not asked to write a statement. So everybody on board had to write a statement except for the two people that actually observed it happening. I don't know if that's true, but that seems weird to me. It reminds me of when Dalia Takali, Lima Yevremovich's sister, accused her mother of sex trafficking to the Tulsa Police Department, and the Tulsa police did not take a statement from her. Don't you think that's weird? Hey, Tulsa police, my mother is sex trafficking me. And they don't even take a statement from her. It's weird, but it seems like, what this captain is doing too. Only a few members of the staff were required to write statements. But plaintiff and her partner were the only two staff members that were not interviewed. They also were not asked to write a statement about the incident, but they had seen it. It's weird to me. As a result of the assault, she has suffered, and they're going to get into what she suffered. Below are the images of the bruises. It's really not that. It's nothing that serious. Just little bruise with some type of tattoo situation. So she's just showing that there do appear to be bruises there, and I could see how those would have been formed with like someone trying to grab you. But again, I was not there. Girl, I do not know. I'm not an expert. Okay. According to Grace, the past year, 2023, has been the most deeply traumatizing time of her life. After the assault and subsequent cover up orchestrated by Diddy and his staff, Grace was isolated and retaliated against on the yacht. The isolation and retaliation resulted in her termination by the yacht captain. And so she basically got retaliated against. That's what she's claiming. And if these allegations are true, I believe it. I mean, excuse me. She was isolated. Yeah. And I mean, I've seen that happen in the service industry where somebody makes an allegation of assault or something like that, and nothing happens to the person that did it. But the person who got assaulted, they will be kind of like given worse shifts or maybe not allowed to work the same shift with that guy or with that abuser or acute or whatever, any assailant anymore. So I could imagine that this could happen. She lost her employment. She was fired. The captain, Peter Milkov, fired her. She also lost her longtime partner with whom she had planned a future. The partner was never the same after seeing the bruises on the body because of Christian's assault and having to deal with the mental and emotional ramifications, so they did separate. Plaintiff's mental health deteriorated to the point that she was medicated and required intensive therapy. She fell into a deep depression, was unable to fully carry out her maid of honor duties at her sister's wedding that she was really looking forward to. She started having panic attacks and anxiety attacks. They prevented her from getting another job, another permanent, position in the yachting industry. She also developed an ED, and as a result of that attack, is what the allegation is. I wasn't there. I do not know. On several occasions, the effects of the assault led her to have severe self-deletion thoughts. In addition to the psychological trauma, her physical health began to deteriorate. And so they say in this lawsuit that she began after the assault to suffer from epileptic seizures. That's not something I knew could happen. You could develop seizures after an assault. Maybe there was some type of nerve. I don't know. I don't want to speculate, but that's what it says. The seizures resulted in her requiring supervision to do basic activities, like she can't swim by herself, she can't take a bath or a shower or whatever without somebody being in there with her. So the allegation is that Diddy chartered the yacht and he assumed responsibility for the actions of not only himself, but to some extent also for his guests and his family. He fostered and encouraged an environment of debauchery. There was always a party atmosphere filled with suspected S workers, laced alcohol, violence, sheer disrespect of women on the yachts, and of the crew. Did not have any safeguards in place to ensure there was no excessive substance use, drinking, and no importation of purported S workers. This part I found to be weird. Paragraph 90. Grace is unsure if Diddy was high on drugs or if he was drunk, maybe both. But out of nowhere, Christina Karam, this is the chief of staff, quickly approached plaintiff and ordered her to remove all of the Ciroc and DeLeon bottles. So the ones that were suspectedly laced. The chief of staff ordered this plaintiff get rid of all of these bottles, the branded bottles. It was important for Sean P. Diddy Puff Daddy Combs to be surrounded by these bottles. But on this occasion, he was visibly intoxicated. Grace, the plaintiff, is not sure if, it was alcohol or both or whatever, but out of nowhere, Christina quickly approached plaintiff, and ordered her to remove all of the Ciroc and DeLeon, whatever bottles. She was informed that two people were boarding the yacht. And at that point, Diddy exited the room. The two people came into the room. Diddy left out. The two people came in. And then Diddy came back, apparently sober, holding his newborn daughter. Okay, so a whole lot to unpack here, which I don't really want to get into all of it. But these two people, right? It's like they're all minding their business. Diddy's apparently drunk. Christina Karam runs up to this stewardess and says, "Get rid of all these Ciroc and DeLeon bottles." She goes do it. And the reason for that is because there's going to be two distinguished guests getting on the boat. Why would you need to hide the bottles? Because the guests were getting on the boat? I do not know. But these guests are kind of they're redacted and then they're referred to down here. So it's two people getting on the boat. And y'all tell me if you've seen any speculation as to who these people are or who they could be. Person one is a famous female comedian, and person two is the wife of a famous female. Oh, sorry. No. Number one, redacted person number one getting on the boat, a famous female comedian. Number two, wife of a famous comedian and founder of a New York-based charity. Well, girl, that could be anybody. That could be anything. So a famous female comedian got on the boat, and also along with her, the wife of another comedian got on the boat. I don't know who these people are. It's two women gets on the boat. But all the Ciroc bottles and everything had to be hidden away for them to get on the boat. And look, it says up here, Diddy was high from drugs, alcohol, both. He was drunk. He was heavily intoxicated. Look, visibly intoxicated. He left out the room. These two women enter into the room. And then Diddy comes back with his daughter, his brand new baby girl. But he was sober when he came back. This all occurred in less than an hour. So he sobered up in an hour, or maybe he wasn't actually drunk and high and whatever before. It's like, do y'all see what I mean? It's not, it's like there's some questions. It creates some questions. Anyway, the next paragraph says this incident led Grace, the plaintiff, to believe that Diddy knew right from wrong, and he did have the ability and the wherewithal to determine that the environment on the yacht was safe, or like when it was, when he, had his baby or whatever. It says in the lawsuit, Diddy intentionally created an environment that was unsafe and gave license to his son Christian to believe that he was free to assault plaintiff. Diddy allowed Christian and his friends to behave carelessly as they observed and mimicked his actions. So they were copying Diddy, basically. It's saying like father, like son. According to Grace, on many occasions, she witnessed young girls visiting the boat, stay for less than 30 minutes in a cabin with a guest, and leave. This led plaintiff to believe these girls were S workers. Young girls, it says. Young girls. I don't know what that means. I don't know the definition of young girls, but that is what it says. Young girls would come onto the yacht, stay for 30 minutes with a guest, and leave. Young girls. According to Grace, Diddy routinely engaged in and openly encouraged illegal substance use while they were on the yacht. On several occasions, plaintiff witnessed him smoking weed while receiving services from the crew members. He would not allow them to leave as he smoked, and they're complaining that they got contact high. He had several women suspected of being S workers on the yacht. In one incident, a girl was extremely upset and she ran to the lower deck. She locked herself in the massage room and was hysterically crying. She said she did not feel safe and she wanted to leave. The crew was alerted of this. At the time, one of Diddy's kids' mom was due to have a massage. So Grace had to kind of ask the girl who was crying hysterically in the massage room to come out of the massage room. But she was very reluctant and she felt unsafe. Eventually, she did leave. So there was this whole occasion on the yacht where a random guest on the yacht was extremely upset. Someone suspected to be an S worker, and she ran to the lower deck and locked herself in the massage room. She was hysterically crying. When they tried to get her to come out, she didn't want to come out because she was scared. On another occasion, Christian lost a large bag of substance and required the crew to search the yacht for it. According to plaintiff, on another occasion, while Hulu was filming a show, Diddy and his friends, including Young Miami, were playing a game called Carisha Please. Okay, so they're filming for Hulu on this yacht, allegedly. And during this Hulu filming, they're playing a game. Young Miami is there, and the game is called Carisha Please. Diddy was dared to expose himself, and at that point, he stood up, pulled his pants down, and exposed his private parts. The stewardess was standing right there by the table, and she heard the commotion, and she notes Diddy's mom was sitting right there while he was doing that. So he's doing this debauchery right in front of his mom. Grace said then she left. She went to the pantry and she refused to stand by outside of the pantry for the duration of that service. She removed herself. She was like, I'm not doing this again. According to her, on another occasion, during New Year's Eve, Diddy had guests who stayed until late afternoon the next day. A fight broke out between Justin Combs' friends. They physically assaulted each other and walked around the boat topless, screaming. Plaintiff and the crew felt very uneasy in this environment. At one point, one of Diddy's guests shoved plaintiff's chief's. Okay. So it's New Year's Eve, and a fight breaks out. Who's it break out between? The other son, the other brother, Justin. Justin has been named in the other Lil Rod Jones lawsuits as participating in freak-offs with his dad. Also, Justin is named if I remember correctly, maybe, I need to like double check, but it's my memory that Justin is the one named in that whole shooting situation at the Chalice Studios where that guy got apparently allegedly shot in the bathroom and the ambulance came pick him up and nobody ever heard from him again. And it was like a year and a half ago or whatever. That was another Justin getting in a fight with his friend situation. You see? So here, a fight broke out between Justin Combs's friends. Excuse me. It doesn't say Justin was involved in the fight. It says between his friends, so two of his friends. The fact that he's saying topless kind of makes me wonder if it's women because I haven't really heard men referred to as topless, but they physically assaulted each other and walked around the boat topless screaming. Grace and the crew felt very uneasy in this environment, which is understandable. At one point, Diddy's guests shoved the chief stewardess, the main like boss, the like front of house manager, um, toward the stairs and threw an object across the bar. On another occasion, there was an argument between a woman and a man. The man was upset and physically assaulted the woman. There was another case where the assistant and noted drug mule Brendan Paul came down to the pantry and was laughing uncontrollably. He said that he had to sit and watch Diddy have relations with multiple women. Diddy wanted him present just in case he needed him to get something while he was in the middle of the act. He questioned, so okay, this kind of adds a little bit of credibility to like Cassie's allegations and Lil Rod's allegations about the freak offs. Um, it does say that the assistant, Brendan Paul, came down to the pantry, came down to talk to the stewardess, and he's laughing. He's laughing uncontrollably. And he's laughing and saying he had to sit and watch Diddy have relations with multiple women. And the reason was Diddy wanted him to be there in case he needed anything. And then Grace, the plaintiff, is like, okay, why do you do that? Why do you want to work for somebody that does that? And Brendan replied, he was a good link to have in the industry, which also again adds a little bit more veracity and credibility to the Lil Rod lawsuit because that's what Lil Rod said that Diddy says. He says to people, "Oh, I'll make sure you get Grammy of the Year for Producer of the Year Grammy. I'll make sure you get, on an album with this person. I'll make sure you get a deal with so and so or whatever." And girl, what page was I on? Hold on. I put my microphone on my thing. I gotta get a new mic stand. Work for uncontrollably. Okay. All right. Okay. So where are we? Okay. So then she's like, why would you want to work for somebody like that if you have to do that? And he's like, oh, it's a good link to have in the industry. So according to plaintiff, when Diddy chartered the yacht, there were several A-list guests on board, including all these redacted people 3 through 7. Philadelphia rapper, a 30-year-old Atlanta rapper who rose to prominence following the release of his 2017 mixtapes, a 25-year-old British rapper, Moroccan rapper signed to Bad Boy Records and Maybach Music Group, former model and CEO of female urban clothing brand. I don't know who any of these people are. I wonder if this could be one of the Kardashians. Former model and CEO of female urban clothing brand. I don't know, bro. Okay. So that's weird. And Cuba Gooding Jr. also gets named. According to plaintiff, Cuba Gooding Jr., who is alleged in the Lil Rod lawsuit of assaulting Lil Rod, basically Diddy is accused of grooming Lil Rod to kind of like be a, for Cuba, a gift of sorts. And now we're seeing him mentioned again on the same yacht by a different plaintiff. He was extremely unpleasant to serve. He sat at the bar and made derogatory comments to the plaintiff. He was always drunk or visibly intoxicated when she was in the room. And she witnessed him inappropriately touching Rodney Jones, Lil Rod, who at the time was working on the Love album. As a result of the conduct of Diddy and Christian, plaintiff continues to suffer serious harm. She kind of goes back over again some of the allegations: groping, forcibly touching, violently grabbing. So the causes of action are assault, battery, assault, premises liability, meaning Diddy being responsible for what happens on the boat that he chartered. Also, I think a defendant named in this lawsuit is the captain. I think she's suing him too. Diddy used the yacht that he leased and had control over as a location for mayhem, including illegal work, drug use, and reckless partying. Son. Okay. So it's allegations re-alleging aiding and abetting against Diddy. So aiding and abetting, assault, battery, assault, all of that. Intentional infliction of emotional distress, which y'all have probably heard of before. Negligent infliction of emotional distress. And she wants compensatory, special, and general damages, punitive and exemplary damages. She wants prejudgment, post-judgment interest, cost of suit, and further relief as the court may deem necessary. Okay. And that's pretty much it. Boss and CEO. Oh my God. I love those skits. Yeah, we do have a Kimora. We do have a Kimora Lee Simmons, Russell Simmons, Aoki Lee Simmons, BJ Investigates coming out very soon. Yeah, so that's pretty much all I had for that. I did want to go over it. Like I said earlier, I do have another video coming out today. It's the Lou Taylor lawsuit that's been making the rounds and all that. So that one is not going to be live. It's going to be a pre-recorded video. I still have to edit a little bit of it, and that will be coming out a little bit later. So make sure you have your notifications on and all that. Like I showed y'all at the beginning of this video, there is nothing really else filed. There hasn't been an answer filed. There hasn't been anything else filed in this case as of, Wednesday, April 10th. It is very soon for something to be filed yet in this case. I would not anticipate or expect for there to be something filed yet in response to this. But yeah, I'll definitely keep y'all updated because I am certainly interested in the development of this case, especially with all these intertwining storylines, plot lines. And if anybody is saying something wrong or something that don't add up, I'm gonna be able to find it immediately. I'll see it immediately. But yeah, I'll see y'all in the premiere later on. And that's like really all I had for today. In the meantime, facts ain't defamation. Love you, mean it. Okay, bye. You are the solution. You are the solution. You are the solution. You are the solution. Let me tell you something right now because I know you're watching. I will be saying everything you tried to do to me.